All right, guys, this lesson is our first lesson for our astronomy unit. So we're going to start out talking about the things that are in our universe, okay? So we're going to start with us, and then we're going to talk about all the other things around us. So this part right here that's on your screen right now, this is your bell ringer. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to write an answer to this question. All right, now that you've written an answer to your question, I want you to see what my idea was, okay? So there's no real right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to get an idea going for you, okay? So this is my example answer for you, okay? So I am in a seat in science classroom 132 at AJ Middle School in the town of Kershaw in Lancaster County in South Carolina in the United States on the North American continent, on planet Earth, in a solar system, in the Orion arm of the Milky Way galaxy, somewhere in the universe, or a universe. All right, so the idea here is that we're fairly small. If we look at the whole universe, we're fairly small, okay? So I'm not just in science class. I have all these other places that I'm in, and it goes huge, big places. So we're not just in the universe, and we're not just in the United States. We are in a really, really small piece of the whole universe, okay? So we are going to go ahead, we're going to start talking about all these objects that are in our universe, okay? So this is the title for your notes. If you are taking notes, this will be the title for it. And we are going to talk about us, and we're going to talk about all the things that are around us. All right, so first thing, inside our universe is a whole bunch of galaxies. And a galaxy is an organized group of stars, planets, moons, and other objects with a black hole in the middle. So all those objects are orbiting around the black hole. Now, there are three types of galaxies. There are spiral, elliptical, and irregular. Okay, so this is what those would look like. A spiral galaxy is going to be flat and have arms stretching out from the center, just like we see here on these slides. We can see the defined arms reaching out from the outside. This one only has two, and this one has three, but this one right here, this is our Milky Way. This has got a bunch of arms inside of that galaxy, okay? And then an elliptical galaxy is going to be flat and disc-shaped. So we don't see defined arms in here. This one's kind of a side view. You can see that it's flat, and this one is the same way here. You can kind of see the side of it where it's flat, but we can tell that it is still a circle, all right? And an irregular shaped galaxy, they have all kinds of different funky shapes. But if it's not elliptical and it's not spiral, then it's going to be what we call an irregular type galaxy. All right, now our galaxy is called the Milky Way. It's called the Milky Way. This is our home galaxy, and it is a spiral type galaxy. And we're one of those tiny little specks. Our whole solar system is one of those tiny little specks in that arm right there. All right? Now, the next thing, we need to talk about a solar system. We are in a solar system inside of that galaxy, so we're working from really big objects down to smaller, so down to where we are. All right, so a solar system is a group of celestial bodies orbiting a star. Okay, so celestial bodies are just anything in outer space, anything that was naturally occurring in outer space. All right, and yes, our sun is a star. There are 8 planets in our solar system and tons of other dwarf planets and asteroids and comets and all kinds of other objects in our solar system. All right, so planets. Planets are the first one we're going to talk about. Planets are a spherical body that's orbiting a star. All right, now it's not orbiting anything else, it's just orbiting a star. Some planets are considered dwarf planets because of their size. So think about like Pluto. Pluto is not considered one of the main planets anymore because it's now classified as a dwarf planet because it's so small. Right? Now, Earth is the third planet from the sun. You probably already know that. That's something you learned in elementary school. And it is about 150 billion meters or 93 million miles away from the sun on average. And on average is because it's an ellipse. So if we look at these oval shapes down here, that's what I mean when I'm talking about an ellipse. Okay? So on average, when we're talking about as close as we can get to the sun and as far away as we can get from the sun, on average, the Earth is about 150 billion meters or 93 million miles away from the sun. All right, our next object we're going to talk about is moons. Moons are natural satellites of a planet. So these objects are orbiting a planet. Just like our moon orbits the Earth, there are other planets that have moons as well. So Earth only has one, but Jupiter has 79 moons that we can see when we're looking at it from here on Earth. Okay? So some planets have a bunch of moons that are orbiting around them. Earth only has one, and some planets don't have any moons. So it is possible to not have a moon at all. All right, the next object is an asteroid. Asteroids are small rocky bodies that orbit around the sun. Most of them orbit between Mars and Jupiter in what we call the asteroid belt. So if you look at that red line right there, that's where the asteroid belt would be. Because we'll start with the first planet, that's Mercury, and the next one is Venus, then we have Earth, and then Mars, and then between Mars and Jupiter, we have that asteroid belt. All those asteroids are orbiting around the sun. All right, our next object is a comet. Comets are icy bodies made of ammonia, methane, carbon dioxide, and water. All right, so comets orbit around the sun, but their orbits are much larger than other objects. So a lot of times we only see them once every couple years. And they do have a tail, but their tail only shows up when they're near the sun. And that tail is always going to point away from the sun no matter which way the comet is moving. So if we look at our diagram down here, even if the comet is moving this way, the direction of the arrow, the tail is still going to point directly away from the sun, and that's because it's caused by solar wind. So all those gases and things coming off of the sun are what create the tail for the comet, so that tail is going to be pointing away from the sun. All right, the next one is meteoroids. Meteoroids are small rocky bodies that are hanging out in the solar system, and they are named for their location, just like we have on this diagram down here. So a meteoroid is in outer space. A meteor has entered Earth's atmosphere, and it's going to burn in Earth's atmosphere. All right? And they're going to get smaller as they burn. And a meteorite has hit the surface of Earth. And I'm going to tell you a kind of a cheater's way to remember which one is which. All right? So if you have an Android phone, or if you know anything about Star Wars, when we talk about the droids that are in outer space, you can remember that oid, droid, and meteoroid are in outer space. Or is always going to be in the middle when you have a choice between two things. Or is going to be in the middle. And then ite is the only one that has an E on the end of it. So that E is going to tell us that it has hit Earth. Okay? So that should help you remember which one is which and where they go.